Sometimes we catch people on the road and we have to just get by with certain elements of recording. That's what we're doing today with me, Daren, Millard, along with Kevin Woodley and David Hutchison, In Goal Radio, the podcast. Hutch, I'm sorry. I can't get my computer to fire up, so we got to do this sort of MacGyverish passion. You're going to have to make me sound as good as you can, all right?
If you sound good to everybody, you know we were able to work a little bit of magic. It's always fun having a challenge, Daren.
So what are we, like 7 out of 10 right now?
Oh, 7.5 at least.
Oh, good. Well, that's good then. That's better than I was expecting.
Listen, Daren, we're just happy to have you back. After 3 weeks of people having to listen to me do the intros, your 7.5 out of 10 is better than me 10 out of 10. So little travel, little challenges after the NHL draft. We're just happy to have you driving the bus for 2 straight weeks here because I had it off the rails and over a cliff while you were away tending to Cup finals.
You did great, Woody.
Yeah, you were awesome.
That 18-wheeler was headed in the wrong direction, folks, to quote Brian Burke, who's now in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yeah. Talked to Berkey the other day. We went through the whole renting a barn, going at it with him and Kevin Lowe.
In the Hockey Hall of Fame, but that might get contentious and you might need a barn yourself.
Well, how about all the goaltenders that were selected in the NHL draft? Is that positive?
I believe so. I had, and let's go to that. By the way, kudos to Mr. David Hutchison, folks. If you want a recap of the draft, done almost instantly, and it was sort of as the picks were being made, they were being added to our draft page at ingoalmag.com. We were actually, Hutch, beating the NHL.com scrolls. Incredible job. And a summary, 32 goalies. All the breakdowns on height, nationality, and everything were available instantly. You can check it out at ingoalmag.com. But 32 is an NHL record. And I had a couple of goalie coaches in the NHL reach out during the draft to talk about how deep and how talented they thought this class was, like how many great options. Now, listen, obviously, most of them came from Eastern Europe, especially at the top end, but how deep it was and how many were selected is probably an indication of that need to sort of constantly be refreshing your own pool. Like have a constant flow. Like teams are pretty much looking at least a goalie 2 of every 3 years, if not every season. Because you just need to, and I put it this way to someone, with the volatility at the top end of the position in the NHL, is this draft, the fact we had so many goalies selected, and the teams recognizing that they need to constantly have options coming up behind their current guys, and the turnover we're seeing, is this part of a trend in which ultimately at the expense of my goalie union card, something I've suggested for years, if I actually was a GM, the one thing I'd avoid with goaltenders is long-term. And they agreed. This is sort of one part of that cycle and that trend.
Worth noting as you talk about having to refresh that pipeline all the time, 6 teams drafted 2 goaltenders.
And I don't have
probably
them,
a record as well.
Right. And I don't have the ones that did in front of me, but
I do.
There we go. Hutch, you got it.
Do you want to take a guess?
Give me the 6 teams.
Take a guess. Who do you think would want to do that?
No, because I'm going to embarrass myself because I should actually know, and I should probably know the names. But
I don't think you should know. I think
who's going to memorize that kind of stuff?
Well, I didn't watch the draft as closely as I normally do.
No, like if thanks for your kind words on the page. If you head over there, there's actually a long article now on top of the drafted goalies list, and we uncovered a whole bunch of stuff that you won't find in the standard sort of pre-draft write-ups that most pages put out, and that was kind of fun to do. At the bottom, there's a sort of a fun facts section, and like how many goalies were drafted.
You had fun facts throughout the night. It was so cool.
Thank you. It was good fun. And one of them was, of course, which teams drafted 2 goaltenders. I've got Boston, Philadelphia, Winnipeg, Toronto, Carolina, and Colorado.
Interesting.
See, there's no rhyme or reason there.
And
well, Boston. So like again, these guys aren't coming into the pipeline right away, but Boston lost Brandon Bossy in the past couple of years. I find it hard to believe that Michael DiPietro is going to clear waivers this year after being the AHL Player of the Year, following AHL Goalie of the Year. And I think the note there is Boston took a high-end guy, second goalie picked in Yuri Ivanov, and then added depth later. So, there's probably interesting reasons for each one. But yeah, teams that, and Winnipeg taking two, like one's a flyer later, one's an earlier pick. Like, we're in the midst of the Connor Hellebuck rumors and Eric Comrie becoming an unrestricted free agent and Dominic DeVincentis maybe being ready to move up along with Thomas Milic. And so like these, and I'm sure they've got a bunch of prospects that are in development camp this week that are following in behind, but with waivers and all these different ways that you can lose guys, you just need to have a constant flux and flow of options.
What about
the other storyline coming out of all of this, with the constant hand-wringing about the Canadian goalie development and, of course, USA Hockey's 50 and 50 program? The first Canadian went off the board as the 11th goaltender picked, 110 overall. The first American went off the board at 125 overall, the 16th goalie taken.
So Europeans dominated the goaltending market.
Eastern
Absolutely
Europeans
dominated.
in particular. Because like, and that's worth noting because two of the, quote unquote previous goalie factory countries that each had a trend where they were the hot spot, Finland and Sweden, only had one goalie apiece taken in this draft. So, that's
So how do we evaluate that?
Well, yeah, my question to that is that happening because that's what's happened to development in goaltenders, or is that happening because everybody's got to grab their Russian or their Czech? It's just a bit trend amongst the scouts and the GMs out there now.
It might be a bit of a trend, but
Probably a bit of both.
The one thing that I hear is the part of that trend is a trend away from quote unquote. I'll use the word that Ian Clark used, but I've heard the same trend described using different words from multiple people across the league. Institutionalized goaltending. And
What does that mean?
Means overcoach. Overcoach isn't a phrase I should use, but heavily coached at a young age. To where the technique is drilled in, but the instinct is perhaps lost. The focus is on technical rather than skills.
Goalie school goalies.
Yeah, there's the phrase, Daren. There's the phrase. And I had that applied to a few of the North American goalies from NHL people that didn't draft them. So it's kind of interesting. Like we heard on the drafts, like Russian goaltending, how the goalies, yes, they all sort of exist within their individual team and clubs and areas, but then once or twice a year they get pulled out and there's like a national camp where all the goalies go and work with national coaches like in season, and then they go back to their teams. It sounds like it happens multiple times a year, and I'm still trying to nail down the details on that because I didn't realize that was happening. So that's an example of, that would be a quote unquote institutionalization of it a little bit. But at the younger ages, I think it's about what you're teaching at younger ages and how much we're overdoing it. And do you have 7-year-olds who are just goalies and learning RVH by the time they're 9? Like that's obviously an overstatement, but it happens. And there seems to be less of that in Eastern Europe. So when I talk to people around the Russian thing, and it's harder because obviously these scouts aren't getting eyes or seeing exactly what's going on there, but I still hear a lot about goalies that are just taught skills and skating and physical literacy at a really young age, and then now they're getting more advanced goalie coaching as they get into their teens, as opposed to having that technical coaching at 7, 8, 9, 10. The North American word might not be institutionalization, it might be commercialization, right? Like those are the two sort of trends, again, where we have kids that are, because it's a big industry, you've got kids at super young ages coming to schools, and not in all cases, obviously, We've got great coaches in North America, but sometimes sort of just getting, maybe a little too much too soon on the technical side. That's what I hear when I talk to you guys.
That before. If you you don't throw a golf club in a kid's hand and just send him to the course for 10 years and then suddenly start teaching him how to grip it and how to swing it. And the same thing with a tennis player. Go on and on in sports, but I'm not really there close to the ground like some of these guys are. So,
And we immediately start looking for a solution to fix a problem, and there may not be a problem there. It might be just cyclical, right?
hey, the other little fun fact that came out of the draft led me down a rabbit hole. 2 of the goaltenders drafted have scored goals.
That was
And
my favorite fun fact.
And I have always wanted to do this. So now there's a page over at In Goal called Goalie Goals. And we've tracked as many goals as we could find, 133 of them on the Goalie Goals page. There's another ingoalmag.com/goalie-goals. If you know of any that we have not covered, anybody out there, and I don't care if your kid is 5 years old and managed to fire a puck the length of the ice, or he's somebody in the NHL we somehow managed to miss, let us know. Send us something that verifies it. Video would be ideal. And come up on that page and we'll increase that number from 133. But some really cool facts, like there are 2 guys on our list who have scored 4 goals. Woody, I bet you can guess one of them, but can you guess the other?
Under the talking, I went to the features. I found it in the subhead under features, goalie goals. So I'm not going to cheat. So 4, is Nedeljkovic one? Is Jari the other one?
No, the other one's a little more, I don't want to say obscure because we'll know his name, but
oh, no,
where some of them came.
Is it Hextall?
Nope.
Or Berder?
Nope.
Oh, come on. Well, now I'm just like rattling off names.
How about Capo Kakinen?
Really?
Capo's got 4 goals?
Yeah, not all in pro, but we've got 4 goals by him categorized. The other thing, of course, you can do for a lot of these goals, including all the NHL goals, is you can watch them. So you just click on watch the goal, the card flips over, and you can see the YouTube video of the goal. So if you're into goalie goals, as so many people are, we got a lot of cool stuff on there for you now.
Oh, Hutch,
Something I've dreamt of doing
brilliant.
for a long time.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do this.
Some of your best work here, Hutch.
Little surprise for you guys today
on this page.
Wow, this is fantastic. I'm just loving this. Like, honestly, this is my new reference because, when you're covering a game live and a goalie goal happens, like you got to really quickly be able, by the time because it's usually with the goalie pulled in the final minutes, and by the time I go to the locker room, I have to have filed the story to New York, so I got to go through all my resources. This is my new number 1 resource.
Nice. I think it's pretty cool. I've only got one woman on the list right now, and that it feels like there's got to be more. So if I haven't been able to find them through my internet searching, and somebody out there has one and can show me a reference, please, we want to add to this list.
And will you take rec leaguers if you've got proof?
I think so. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, throw it up there. If you've got proof that you scored a goal.
Barn.
I need video. I need video
so
that we can show that. If you've got
video and be able to show it, we should be able to put you up there, right? I'm advocating for the rec leaguers.
Absolutely. I think we probably have to put some sort of a bar on this. Like if you're 4 years old playing cross ice hockey, not sure about that because probably some of those kids managed to take the puck and just skate around 6 guys and put it in the net. That'd be really cool. Please send me the video if you have it. Not sure that's making our list. But if you got a full ice goal from a goalie, please let me know.
Hutch, I was unable to answer your questions because you've got all kinds of great factoids around goalie goals. But can you tell me how many of these goalie goals Kevin Woodley has covered live?
I think it's 2, but is it 3? Yeah.
I've been there to witness 2. I guess you probably could have just proxy searched how many occurred in Vancouver against the Canucks, but yeah, 2. I thought I'd stymie you there, but you knew it. Yeah.
No, you've told us before, so I got it.
Attaboy.
I like to see one. That would be one of those I was there for moments.
Oh, the Elmark one was just it was so cool just to be in the room and I didn't
Plus,
I didn't have a grasp on what I was witnessing with the Nabokov one. You know, like I was a little earlier into it at that stage of my career. But the Ullmark one was just like, and the way that's a different type of goal. The way he fired it and it landed
Yeah.
at that was just a
the
thing
scoreboard
of
had to
absolute.
duck or jump out of the way.
Yeah, it was so good. Just launch. And with a forecheck coming, and then just to go into the room and having a bit of a relationship with him and getting to ask him about being part of history and sort of leading some of the questions there, and just having that moment and those smiles, like it's pretty cool. I liked it. I would like to be at more.
They find the goalie goal section again.
At the top, if you just click on features, you get everything. But one of the drop downs is goalie goals, or it's just ingoalmag.com/goalie-goals.
Great ad. Just like the parents
Please.
segment on In Goal Radio, the podcast, we have our gear segment coming up right now, presented by the Hockey Shop, source for sports Langley, thehockeyshop.com.
We have a whole bunch of second price point gear coming to the gear segment in the coming weeks. We're not going to go there today. We've got something brand new out of the box, just released. But coming as the summer goes on, a whole bunch of second, third price point. We've talked for the last little while, like feels like last 4 years, Hutch, we've seen this trend of just the quality of the gear at the lower price points is unbelievable. We had one of the gear testers at the Hockey Shop took out the lowest price point Bauer GSX line onto the ice and couldn't believe how well the pads perform. So we're going to dig into that this summer in depth. Not quite this week, maybe not next week, because we got something exciting new next week from CCM that's just about to hit the shelves that you've never been able to buy before. Hint, it's pants. But we're going to save that for when it launches.
That's not a hint.
Hint, it's pants. But my point here is,
it's like a Woody Pro Reads tease.
Yeah.
Hint, you wear it. Like I don't know what the proper hint would have been there.
Yeah.
But
Hint.
You took away all questions.
Okay,
Hint,
I digressed. Hint, it's pants. It's pants. Pants you've never been able to get before, damn it. You guys are taking away my read here for the Hockey Shop source for sports, where you, of course, can get not only the latest in all this second price point stuff, but sales on past lines that it replaces, and maybe more than anything, especially if you can get there in person, Hockey Shop source for sports in Langley, but even over the phone and online with their incredible sales staff that play the position, know the position, understand the position, you will be able to get answers about whether this stuff's going to work for you at the level you're playing. That's the most important thing. So make sure you check it out. It's not always pro gear. There's great options in store now and tons of discounts on the past generations of those or past iterations of those options online at hockeyshop.com. But this week we're going something new, something very high end. Cam's going to explain to us what the new Bauer Fuze stick is all about.
That's really pretty and uniquely shaped, Cameron.
Uniquely shaped. Welcome back to the Hockey Shop.
Source for sports in Langley, hockeyshop.com. But we're here in person live with a new Bauer Fuze stick, which just launched.
Yes.
So new stuff in July, Christmas in July, and a grip that is ergonomic feeling on my hand, so natural.
Oh.
I think they call it the ErgoGrip.
No way.
See what I did there?
I did, yes.
It's the same as the Pulse stick, right?
Yeah, it's because they fused that technology together to create the new Fuze line.
Okay, so folks, we had like the bump up here before, but now it like extends all the way down over the paddle, so it just kind of naturally fits into your hand. I really like it.
So Kevin's quite focused on the grip, which is actually
But there's other new features.
There is, but this is awesome. Just even the way, again, ergonomically is probably just the best way to put it.
Well, I mean,
How your
it's
index
literally
finger comes
called the
across.
ErgoGrip.
It has that little bit of that bump out just to pump up your index finger. You get a lot better control over your stick. And there's been a lot of talk about different grips and how you hold your stick as of late. We've seen the trigger grips, we've seen the steep paddles, things like that. This is all preference territory, but that said, based on a number of goalies trying this out. That's the reason why Bauer went ahead with it and added it to that fuse
So
line.
they used the pulse line as sort of a tester, and now it's in the fuse.
Exactly, which is commonly done for them for sure.
It's just quite. It feels like we've seen a lot of guys like. I remember Martin Jones. Like we had a segment with him where he built up this part with tape.
Yep.
A lot of guys would build up this area to sort of fit their hand better. This one does automatically. It's got a little bit of tackiness to it. It's got that sticky grip. That's great. Now let's go through the rest of the stick.
So, still super, super lightweight, which we know in the Shadow already was in the first place.
We see that on the back.
And that's all to do with having that spine and having that back of that paddle kind of cut out.
So we see it extends down to the blade to the cutout, which is not new. That was previous generation too, right?
Correct. Even how they've now tapered it even more so into the stick, just from like research, going through the actual breakage and stuff like that, which Bauer does pay attention to help improve the design even further. So Tech Stream still makes its return all the way throughout the stick. Moving up to the shaft.
It's light. It's light.
It's light. I mean, that's one thing you're going to know. I don't have the exact weight off the top of my head. Sorry. Hey, light.
It's light.
Light.
Fair.
Light. Everything's light now.
Yeah. But
Nothing's heavy anymore. There's no wood stick.
That's true. Feels good.
So flexible because of that spine.
So mid flex, low flex, mid kick. What are we talking here?
That mid.
Mid.
So
Cameron's very mid today.
one of the things that has made its transfer over that P28G curve. So you have a P31.
Okay.
We have the hook.
Oh, little Ovechkin toe hook there, eh?
So it's available stock off the wall. Again, something that's
You think you could throw a curveball with that thing the way Ovi throws the 1T curveball?
a curveball. I'm launching this into the roof immediately.
Yeah, I like that little flip up there at the end, little flip toe curve. Cam's out there dangling guys with this stick.
I hope so.
Okay.
One day.
What
maybe.
else? What else,
All
buddy?
So pretty much kind of covers it. One nice thing is that there are some pretty awesome colors.
I
available.
like the white.
That full white out kind of style. This is their stock colorway this year too as well, kind of modeled a little bit more after that pulse kind of coloring as well.
Okay.
So, if you have any questions? Want to go through some options? 604-589-8299.
Custom options?
There are custom options as well.
What's the minimum order if you get custom?
Because you can order one off on custom.
One off on custom?
Yes. And they also have a quick turn option as well, which is just adding that name and a little bit of color as well.
Okay.
So you've got some great things you can go through.
All right. Okay. The only thing that hasn't changed is I think they're maybe not the last company, but they're one of the last to sort of just have a plain old rectangular shape. Yeah.
Nothing too fancy going on here.
Breakage.
Rectangle shaft.
Okay.
Hey, every stick breaks.
All right. There it is. Bauer Fuze. Got any questions? Want to see what they got in stock? Go to the website. All the different colorways, all the different models, different curves, as Cam mentioned. Check it out at thehockeyshop.com.
Sticks are. I have trouble getting my head around sticks. Am
You're
I?
supposed to put your hand around it, Daren, not your head.
Yeah,
Good. That was well done, Hutch.
Yeah.
That was really good.
a
what I'm
smattering
here for.
from the gallery.
I walked right into that. No, it's something that you can't always test. So how does somebody navigate the world of sticks?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And the other piece of that, of course, is, I mean, sticks break, and some are going to break faster than others just from pure random chance. And of course, when you invest in a stick and it breaks early, you see all these people with their quote-unquote reviews out there. Well, it broke on the second skate and so on. That's not a fair evaluation. It's pretty tough to do that.
It's features and feel, right? And the features features we can tell you about. Cam just told you about all the features. The other part is feel. And I think so something like that ErgoGrip that they've got, which is, it used to have the pentagrip, which is just sort of over the very bottom of the shaft. Now it goes right down into the hand, and the way the hand wraps around the top of the paddle, it's like almost like grabbing a mouse, Daren. Like most people don't even have a mouse on their computers anymore, but the old days of grabbing a mouse for their computers, now we've got Hutch has a mouse, but he's a old school wacko. We've all got trackpads. But you know what I mean? Like, it's totally different. So we can tell you about the features, we can tell you about the weight, but the feel, where the flex point is, how it balances, how it feels in your hands, those are all things that you sort of got to experience. Now, the one beautiful part is in terms of shooting it and feeling that flex point, where it is and how it comes off the stick if you're shooting pucks. The beauty of the Hockey Shop Source Sports is they have a shooting room, and it's not just for players. You can take a stick in there, they'll tape it up, and you can fire pucks. That new curve that Cam talked about, it's been around a little bit for Bauer, but they have it as an option on the new Fuze stick. Total like Ovechkin toe hook with a curve up. Like some guys are going to love that for quick little chips off the board, but other guys might not. And so you have the opportunity to go in there into the shooting room and be like, at least you can feel, because it's such a big part of the game. You know, It's funny. We talked about European and North American goalies. Like one of the things that North American goalies have quite a bit better when you talk to NHL scouts is they shoot and handle the puck, especially American goalies, a lot better than their counterparts in Europe. It's an observation I've heard from several now. So, it's an important part of the game, and at least you get to feel that. So you can get the only thing you're not going to get is how it feels on stopping pucks. So we do our best to give you the features. You can get in store and get the feel, and at a place like the Hockey Shop Source for Sports, you can get the feel in a shooting room, and you can ask their guys because, they got guys in there that try all this stuff, and they'll tell you what the difference is.
Major advantage. It's the benefit of being part of the In-Goal Mag world of goaltending, just like our Visual Edge Pro Reads, brought to you by Visual Edge.
Well, do you want the puck to look like a beach ball? It doesn't matter what stick you have if you can't see the puck. Every goalie has that night here and there where the puck looks huge. You're ahead of every play. You feel calm, patient, in total control. Then there are the nights you're a half step late. You see it, but you don't really see it. You're reaching, you're guessing, you're fighting it. That's not your technique. It's not your stick. It's your eyes and your brain not processing the play fast enough. Visual Edge fixes that. It measures how well your eyes track and process the game, then gives you a custom plan to train improvement. 3 15-minute sessions a week on your laptop or tablet. It's what NHL goalies like Jordan Binnington use to make the game slow down when it matters most. And remember, use the code INGOAL, INGOAL, all caps, to save 10% on a subscription to Visual Edge. Or, if you're a member of InGoal, go to any Pro Reads, and there is a exclusive member-only code attached to it that will get you double that discount, 20% off. It actually, the savings there are enough to justify a subscription to InGoal magazine all on their own. So make sure you check that out. And speaking of Pro Reads, it's one of the best features we have at ingoalmag.com. And this week's guest is Eric Comrie. Now, I can't, as I do sometimes, lead Daren with questions about how he would handle certain plays on this one, because there are about 6 different elements to this play with Eric that we get into this week. There's a little bit of post play multiple times, and Eric walking us through his decision on when to go into reverse, when to hold his feet. There's a pop pass. He talks about how much ice to take on a low-high play from below the goal line into the slot, what factors into his decision on whether to just prioritize angle in the middle of the net or come out charging and try and get to the top of his crease. And then we get into a scramble, a broken play, where Eric has lost his net a little bit, at least in terms of north-south depth. And he talks about when he makes that decision to sort of back up and sort of put himself a little more center net and then use his posts as an anchor on a broken play scramble. So this is a 3-parter and a great sort of walkthrough from one of the deep thinkers of the game, Eric Comrie. We've heard him talk about, we've got him and Connor Hellebuck and the way they discuss the game with their goalie coach, Wade Flaherty, the way they all do video like these Pro Reads together in terms of how they see the game, how they process the game, and trying to improve that. So we take you into that coach's room environment with Eric Comrie this week on the InGoal Radio Pro Reads, brought to you by Visual Edge.
Love spending some time with Eric Comrie.
Pending UFA, Eric Comrie.
What do you think happens there? They've got some talk about both goaltenders in Winnipeg.
Well, I would imagine that the status of the 3-time Vezina Trophy winner and Hart Trophy winning goalie affects, and ultimately whether he stays or whether he goes and who comes back if there is a trade, might impact Eric's future. Because I'm telling you, if given the relationship between the three of them, if Connor Hellebuck is back and Wade Flaherty is back, then I'm assuming Eric Comrie is back too. Now, that's not any knowledge. That's not any information. Clearly, there's enough smoke around the Hellebuck situation that we know there's a fire there. But I just think that if Connor Hellebuck is back, it's, unless they're looking at their American League guys and think they're ready, and I haven't watched them enough to say yes or no, or they're worried about losing them on waivers, so they bring them up just because they don't want to lose them for nothing after spending all that time developing them. That would be my hunch.
David Hutchison standing by with the Stop It Goaltending U, the app parent segment. Woody?
Do you want to have 25 years of NHL goalie coaching experience at your fingertips? You want to tap into the goalie parenting expertise that helped Joey Decord reach the NHL? That's what you get with a subscription to Stop It Goaltending U, the app. All the knowledge from Brian Decord, who's been an NHL goalie coach, NHL scout, and currently an NHL director with the Detroit Red Wings, as well as the insights and expertise from his staff at Stop It, which includes a long list of veteran NCAA coaches and others working in pro hockey, all delivered in easy-to-digest chunks, including 5 short daily primers, weekly style analysis, and breakdown videos, as well as drills you can take onto the ice with your team and coach. Plus, and this is a big plus, you get a subscription to In Goal Magazine included. So that's right. Go to the App Store or Google Play. Get the best of both worlds with a subscription to Stop It Goaltending U, the app, and a subscription to In Goal Magazine.
Hutch.
I'm calling this one, The Best Part Isn't the Hockey. So the other night I was chatting with Matty, and I asked him if he would come to the ballpark with me. Not to go watch a game. And I didn't actually say I took him. I asked him to take me, in fact. So we grabbed the gloves and we headed over. We spent about the next hour throwing, pitching, hitting. It was honestly, guys, a perfect early summer evening. Somewhere along the way, I realized that something had quietly changed. For years, I was the one organizing these trips, of course. At this time, he was hitting the balls to me. He'd wait while I tracked one down in the outfield. He'd hit me another and, of course, give me a hard time when I didn't quite get there, and we laughed a ton. It was one of those evenings that makes you wonder why you don't do it more often. And it got me thinking about all those years that hockey's given us and everything it's given us. When he was 3, we'd head to the rink thinking we'd skate for half an hour, maybe an hour, kill some time with a young kid. That was the plan. But things kind of changed because he'd want to stop and watch the Zamboni for a little while. Then he'd want to go back on the ice and then grab some food. I swear to you, we had days we were at the rink for 7 hours messing around. At the time, I thought we were developing a hockey player. Of course, we were doing that, but we were doing something else too. We were building memories. And hockey's given us a ton. Road trips to camps where somewhere outside Merritt, BC, we accidentally discovered we both like country music. Sorry, Woody. There was the time we threw a ball back and forth in a ferry lineup to kill a 5-hour wait. Another time we did the same thing in the middle of the Jasper to Banff highway because the road had closed and traffic wasn't moving an inch. Countless times where we'd be talking about the game and end up talking about everything except hockey. I am sure there are lots of goalie parents out there who've experienced the very same thing. As hockey parents, we spend so much time thinking about development, more ice, better coaching, extra training, the next camp, the next opportunity. None of those things are bad. They do matter. But I've started wondering if sometimes we overlook the development that's happening when we aren't trying to develop anything at all. It's watching that Zamboni with a 3-year-old who's absolutely fascinated. It's stopping for a snack because nobody's in a hurry. It's rolling down the windows on a road trip. Throwing a baseball on a summer night because the weather's too nice to stay inside. Those moments don't show up on your elite prospects profile. Nobody gets drafted because they watched the Zamboni. Nobody gets a scholarship because they stopped for ice cream. But those might be the moments you and your kids remember. They're certainly the ones that I do. Hockey's given our family some incredible experiences, taken us to places we'd never dreamt, made lifelong friends, and taught those valuable lessons that reach far beyond the rink. I still love every bit of that. But somewhere along the way, I realized that the best part isn't the hockey, it's everything the hockey gives us. So, summer is here, the sun is shining, go outside, have some fun, shoot some pucks, throw a baseball, go for ice cream, take the long way home. Because years from now, I have a feeling you won't remember every drill or frankly the score of any game. You'll remember the smile on their face when they asked if they could just stay a little bit longer. Turns out that's been the best part all along.
And it's similar to when players talk about when they retire. The thing they'll miss the most is just being in the room or road trips and the team room. That the hockey ends up becoming second or third beyond uh, just the experiences of being around the guys.
Yeah, amen. I mean,
The
what else can
journey.
you say? That's what
Everything
it's all
about that was good, Hutch, except for the country music, which I
I knew you'd say that, Woody.
I had to put up with on the drive to Calgary with you two once.
Hey, isn't your favorite artist? Didn't she start out as a country singer?
Yeah, irregardless, it's not the same.
Irregardless isn't a word.
Whatever.
If you're gonna jump all over Cam every session, we got to get you on irregardless.
Oh, damn it.
Why don't you like country music?
I don't mind country music. It's almost a thing where I just have to be the grumpy, bitter old man.
Yeah, I used to be like that growing up. Everybody loved the Beatles.
My
That's how old
kid
I am.
my kid came back from school in Hawaii and she's playing all kinds of country music on the drives now. So I'm starting to get used to it. Let's be honest, most country music now, or there's this balance, but I'm not a musician, but it's kind of like soft rock anyways, half of it.
Yeah, the gap between pop and country music is blurred. That line.
And there are a lot of country artists, or I shouldn't say not the artists themselves, but they have songs on their albums, especially recently, that frankly sound more like folk music to me, like folk rock, than they do country. And there's my jam right there. Like I love that type of stuff. So yeah, the tide is turning here. I just had to give Hutch a hard time.
Very folksy. Sense Arena feature interview brought to us by Sense Arena. Hutch.
Sense Arena. This segment coming up is brought to us by Sense Arena, as they all are. And goalies, this one's for you. Sense Arena, of course, we know, rolled out this year their goalie advancement program, and it's available on every subscription in goalie mode. It's a guided course built around the skills that actually move the needle in your crease. You're going to work through angles and box control with those virtual box guardrails, 3D replays so you can see your own positioning from every angle. You're going to train shot release reads in ghost mode, facing different shot angles and different speeds until the read becomes instinct. And you'll learn to find pucks through traffic, flash screens, multiple looks, anchoring off the puck instead of guessing, the kind of stuff that's hard to practice on the ice because nobody wants to sacrifice their body while you're training. But it's also a skill that for sure can take you to the next level. It's not random reps, it's a path, positioning, anticipation. Oh, and now the mental side, of course, as well. Visualization and mindset work is baked right into it. So head over to sensearena.com and get into the goalie advancement program to guide your training this summer. Sense Arena, train your hockey sense. And of course, use the code IGM50 when you order Sense Arena to save even more.
I
My
think
favorite part.
The traffic is mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mine's the shot release.
Yeah. That's a good one too. But like the one thing you can't train, especially us, like not that people are going to the net super hard for us old men beer leaguers, but like just I've had the few guys comment on this. Like you just can't get good traffic training, and Visual Edge gives it to you without having to worry about teammates getting felled by friendly fire standing in front of the net or not standing in front of the net and giving you realistic reps.
And hey, those are the goals that we look at and we say, oh, that guy had no chance. Well, there are some things that you can practice to give yourself a chance. Yep, screens are really hard, but they're a separator.
You know what? Yeah, and it's not just a separator by size. Sorry, Daren, I didn't mean to interrupt, but one last thing. Do you know who one of the best goalies in the entire National Hockey League? This came up because we were looking at profiles recently. The best screen goalies in the entire NHL last year was not a 6'5" guy who looked over everything. It was a smaller, not small, but smaller goalie who thinks the game better or as well as anyone. It was Jake Allen of the New Jersey Devils. Like, so that goes to show you that there is strategy as opposed to just, it's not just I can't look over. Like, it's all about smarts and being able to sort of manage some of that chaos in front of you and pick your lanes. And we've got so many of these strategies that pro reads over the years with these guys. When I saw that stat, I'm like, I got to call Jake Allen and get him to do some screen pro reads for us.
There you go.
He was incredible with it. So yeah, Daren had to jump in there. I think that's such a massive part of the NHL Sense Arena environment.
The ability to find different ways to find the puck through traffic is awesome. One of the things that I throw out there every now and then during my skates is I'll just tell the guy, yell, no screening. And every now and then you'll get a guy that'll just stop and go, really? and then you're able to look around him. So it's catch him by surprise. Throw that in your junior A league. No screening. Let's see how it goes over. Censoring a feature interview. What do we got this week?
We have Bruno-Pierre Guillemette from the Montreal Victoire. And if you guys liked last week's, so origin stories and Josh Kotai and like just great backgrounds by somebody who's really passionate about the goaltending position, you are going to love this interview with Bruno, or Bruno-Pierre, as they call him, BP at the rink. Of course, Walter Cup winning Montreal Victoire. Bruno was not coaching that long ago. He was working in a sporting goods store. So, and that's when he decided to be a goalie, I'll let him tell it. It's a great story and another unique example of the different ways that people get drawn in or back into the position and go on to have great success. It's a good one. I can't wait for everyone to hear it. Really excited to welcome to the In Goal Radio podcast a gentleman I've had the pleasure of getting to know a little bit on their visits through Vancouver over the past couple of seasons. Goaltending coach of the Montreal Victoire, the PWHL Walter Cup champion Montreal Victoire, Bruno-Pierre Guillemette. Bruno, this is a crazy time of year for you. First off, let's start with the celebration, because I know you're working on you got your own hockey school, Intense Hockey. We've got a draft process going on in the PWHL right now. You also have the draft for the PW. Just crazy time of year. Thank you for making time for us amidst it all. Let's start with the celebration. You got the championship hat on. What's it been like?
Yeah, it's been crazy and fun at the same time. Since we won the Walter Cup, we've been invited everywhere. We've been invited and presented at the Montreal Canadian, the third game against the Hurricane Carolina. We were there, and then the parade too downtown. I would say that everybody wasn't expecting anything. We knew we would have fans there, but seeing all the fans that were there on St. Catherine Street, following the bus, and then arriving at the stage, seeing that so many people were there, 20,000 and plus. That was crazy, and feeling the love from the fans, and yeah, everybody's saying that in Montreal we got the better base fans, but seeing it and living it with that parade was unbelievable. Was crazy, and yeah, we had so much fun there.
Yeah, it looked, just a massive crowd, and it looked like what a great celebration.
Yeah.
It is a busy time of year for you as well. How'd you were you able to enjoy it, or you pretty much went right into expansion draft?
Yeah.
And were you able to sort of soak it in a little bit at first before you got back to work?
Yeah, we were able to the first week after the win. For sure, we started to talk a little bit about the draft, but yeah, we took the time to celebrate and soak it in, and then right after the parade, the parade was on a Saturday, and on a Monday we had our draft meeting with all the coaches and going through the process of expansion draft and all those stuff. So it's a quick turnaround, but it's fun, and we want that every year now. even if there's a lot of job to do and a lot of video to watch for scouting and stuff, but yeah, it's so much fun to win. We want to do that every year now.
Championships are always fun. Talk to me a little bit about the process of the playoffs and managing your goalies, your starting goalie and Renee Desbiens, but also having three with Sandra Abstreiter and Megan Warner, and sort of that balance between making sure Renee gets her time, but is also rested, and sort of how you work that through that playoffs and even all year, because I think, even at the NHL level, we're about to see practice goalies, and a lot of people always used to have the stereotype of, three goalies is too many, three doesn't go into two, and yet I've watched you work and watched you manage it. What advice would you have for others that are managing three goaltenders?
Yeah, working with Deb she's easy to work with, having three goalies. She doesn't want to have a spotlight on her during practice, and she doesn't want to have her own crease and doesn't want to give rep to the other goalies. So even from the starting of the first season, like that, she was pretty clear with us that she didn't want that. So like during practice, during season, all three goalies are rotating during the flow drills or when we do like more system. And I think it worked well for her, for Deb, and also for the other goalies. Like even this year with Megan Warner, like as a third goalie, she had a lot of rep during the practice, so she was able to progress during the season on that part. And with Sandra too as a backup, like every goalie had the same time of rep. The only time sometimes that it would have changed is the day before game practice. Let's say we had a 45 minutes practice with 30 minutes of goalie session before. Like we were managing them on those days. Like sometimes she was doing goalie session and then maybe the first 2-3 drills and then out. So like Sandra and Meg would have more time during those practice, but it was really based on what our schedule looked like and the traveling and stuff. But when came playoff, like we didn't add a lot of practice. I think we had maybe 3 or 4 max during the 2 rounds. So Deb was not on the ice a lot of time. Like she doesn't come to pre-skate. She doesn't like that. So like, and it worked well for her. So whatever works for her, we'll go with that. And with the season that she had, it was tough to go against that. So I had a lot of time with Sandy and Meg during those pre-game skate or the 2-3 practice that we had during the playoff run. So yeah, no, that was easy. It was easy to run. I'm used to work with 3 goalies. Like I was goalie coaching with Concordia and U Sport before that, and like U Sport is like for goalies, it's a bit like the PW, man. We don't have a farm team, or so we need to have 3 goalies instead of like in case of injury. So like I was used to do that before too. So yeah, it's not a big change for me. And as long as my philosophy on that is as long as you're honest with the goalies and you go with what you told them, I think they're buying the system and it's pretty easy after that. Yeah.
Working with different strengths of goalies. Obviously you got Anne Renee,
Yeah.
Debian, as you mentioned, is like
Yeah.
the elite of the elite. I mean, that season, both her and Aaron Frankel, the seasons they had were just. As a goalie coach, was there a back and forth at all between? It just seemed like one and the other back and forth all year. 2 of the most incredible seasons I think we've ever seen in professional hockey.
Wow, it's crazy what they did this year, yeah, and it's 2 different goalies too. Like
Yeah.
different style, different approach of the game, I'm sure. And yeah, like with women's hockey, like the stats are always a little bit higher than in the NHL or like junior or university. But what they accomplished this year, it's been amazing. Like 955 or save percentage and like 1.1 average goal against. Like
Crazy.
I don't know, maybe we can compare that for the older guys, like what Ashik did with Buffalo at the end of the 1990s, the amazing season he had there. But yeah, like what they were able to do this year on a consistent basis too, that's been amazing. Yeah.
Working with different, you talk about different styles,
Yeah.
and Aaron and Renee having different styles within your own team.
Yeah.
You know, how do you, as a goalie coach, advice for other goalie coaches who, you know, have different strengths and different things to work on and different styles of goaltender, and in your case, 3, how do you approach that?
For sure, at that pro level, they're working with older goalies. Like I think as goalie coach, we need to adjust more on what they like because they're playing the game. They know what they feel, they know what they like, and they're comfortable working with. So yeah, just having an open mind there, like an easy thing for not an easy thing, but when I came with the Victoire and started working with them, there were some post play that we were not agreeing on, but like at the end of the day, she's playing. She needs to stop the puck. So even me as a goalie coach, I had to adjust there because I was used to work with younger goalie that you want to form a little bit more. So sometimes you always want to have an open mind, but sometimes you go with what you want them to improve and work. But like working with older goalies, I think we need as goalie coach to keep an open mind there and working with what their strengths are. For sure, you want to improve their where they need to improve, but yeah, having an open mind there, I think it's the key for us as a goalie coach, working with different stuff.
Can you give us an example? I mean, all goalies on the audience here,
Yeah.
so they'll know some of the technical stuff. Maybe something that you do. Well, you mentioned like something you might teach differently. She wanted to do it differently, or even from one goalie to the other, different things. They, especially post play,
Yeah.
is probably a common
Yeah,
one.
post play with the RVH and now that I would say the one knee down is coming back a little bit more, like for
Little VH, old
yeah,
school.
VH old school. So I would say like what for the past 10 years, that VH position there was not anymore, was not in the game anymore. Now it's starting to get back, and with them, uh, that's one technique that she likes. Depends on the angle and the option in the front. So just switching my mind there, like sometimes she was going VH, and I was like, well, a little bit more RVH there maybe. And she was like, no, like I'm not comfortable doing that. And as long as she's doing it or other goalies are doing it the right way and they're not getting scored, like work with that. Like so yeah, so that one example coming to my mind quickly. Um, and like if we talk post play with Sandra, she rather stay on her feet. Uh, she, she's more used to do overlap too. So like working with like they have VH instead of RVH, and then Sandra staying on her feet. And then this year Meg came, and when I talked to her at the beginning of the season, she worked a lot on her post play this summer, so she was RVH a little bit more. So I had three goalies, three different things to work on at the post play. So it was like, okay, Deb, you're in the net, we'll work on VH. Sandra will work on your feet, and Meg will work with your RVH. So yeah, adjusting there and it's fun. It's fun having different style, and like all those three goalies really like to talk about the game too.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask. If they, if you saw them, like I know Sandra has worked on RVH
Yeah.
and worked on it. She's talked about improving her comfort level with it so that she has that tool in the toolbox. Seeing them, a lot of sharing, a lot of talking, a
Yeah,
lot of different ideas bouncing around. That's got to be fun.
Yeah, exactly. And all the three goalies are all talking about it too sometimes during goalie sessions. So it's create good conversation and interesting conversation too, because they all have their different thinking behind it. So yeah, it's really nice, really fun.
As a coach too, are you learning a little bit? Like as much as you have,
Yeah.
maybe come in with a certain mindset. Like you mentioned, I think we are seeing not a lot, but at all levels, a little more return of that VH. Is it a matter of being comfortable with different techniques, but then maybe more than anything, knowing when to use what? Is that the biggest part?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like for your first question, yeah, I'm still learning as a goalie coach, and I still want to learn. Like I think when you stop learning, that's where the problem is. So yeah, for sure, I'm still learning, and I think that like the different technique as a goalie is like you said, like different tool in your toolbox, and then when to use it, and if you're comfortable using it. So if you're comfortable using it, you'll have the confidence, and then you'll be able to make the save. Like yes, it's a technical position, but it's also a mental position. So we can work with let's stay with that example. We can work in RVH as long as we want, but if the goalie is not comfortable doing it, she or he doesn't have the confidence to do it, it will reflect in his game. So yeah, so working on that, having different tools, and then you'll be able to make the save.
The evolution and the way it's changed, like you said, like it's sort of constantly changing. We see styles come and ebb and flow. Within the women's game, you talked about that IQ, that knowing when to use what we call it, goalie IQ, whatever you want to call it. How much of that is those conversations around the net? how much do you lean on video for the read element of the game and improving that element thing? I guess especially with someone like Megan, who's not getting the game reps.
Uh, yeah, and it's tough too to like we can film all the practice that we want, or but
Right.
like as for Megan as a third goalie, it's tough sometimes to do video because like we can practice some stuff during the season, and but how is it gonna reflect on our game? That's the hardest part for a third goalie in our league because they don't. Well, I don't. Maybe there's two goalies in the league. They were third goalie who played a game this season. So yeah, you want to rely on that. So with Meg, especially during the Olympic breaks, we did video there a little bit more. During the season, sometimes it was a little bit tougher to do video, but with that this year, that's something that we changed a bit. Did a little less video than last year. Um, just going with the flow, having a lot of reps. Uh, and with the season that she had, like when we started the season and she was doing really well, in my mind, I just kept the same routine. Like I think we did maybe video 4 or 5 times this season.
Wow.
Really on special things that sometimes we like I thought we needed to work on. But we talked about every game, uh, post play, not post play, puck play. Uh, I sent her the video after every game. So, and we had discussion here and there before practice or on the ice or just what she wanted to work on, uh, and feels great for the game. Yeah.
I feel like with a 955 save percentage,
Wow.
you got it. Like, yeah, like I once played golf in a media event
Yeah.
with a guy who threatened a course record up at Whistler during our round of a PGA Tour player. Like he was flirting with a 61, which was the course record, and you're trying to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so, like, where do you maybe walk me through what a conversation looks like? And it doesn't have to be with Renee specifically, but you know, as a goalie coach after a game, how long do you give them? Do you talk to them right away after the game, feel it out? Is it next morning? Like, how do for young coaches that are like, hey, how should I approach that?
Yeah.
What would be your advice?
With older goalie like that, I think, and it's like we were talking earlier, it's what they need. And after like it's my third season with the Victoire, so my third season with them, my second season with Sandra, so you start to knowing them. Uh, with Anne Renee is I wouldn't talk to her after a game. Uh, we would talk the next day or like the next practice. Uh, Sometimes after a game, uh, like the emotion are there. We lost a game, we won. Sometimes I feel not like that you can go wrong, but just like let's say you lose a game 2-1 or 3-2, or and then your emotion are there. You're a little bit mad. I rather talk to the goalie the next day. So now your emotion are calmer. You rewatch the game. You have a better feel sometimes. Like for me, during a game, I'm doing video too, so I'm clicking the game live. So the feeling that the feeling of the game and what my goalie really did. Like I don't have that as much as if I was just focusing on her. So that's my approach. Like I'm always waiting for the next day. Talk to the goalies. Um, with Sandra, it was a little bit different. Like since she played a little bit less, uh, depend on our game. She played 5 games this year. I would say that I talked to her maybe 2 of 3 of those games right after the game. Like I remember her first game in Vancouver. She didn't play in the league for a year and a half or something like that. So I went to talk to her right away because like she had won. Everybody was so happy for her. So I would say it's different on every situation.
So you have to feel it out a
You
little
have to
bit.
feel it out. Maybe it's different if you're coaching a younger team or younger goalies like here in Quebec midget AAA, like 15, 16 years old kid. Maybe you can have a different approach, but I would say it's depending on every goalie and what is good for them too.
I was going to say at Concordia, your goalies would have all played major junior probably, so they're pretty experienced too, even though it's university.
Yeah, and even me, like if I go back on when I was in Concordia, when I arrived there as a goalie coach, I was still a young goalie coach with like, because before that I was with the junior team, like goalie from 17 to 20 years old, and then you arrive there, and my first season was COVID, so we didn't play. Second season, right away I had older goalies like 23, 24 years old, so it's different. So I learned a lot being there too. So if I go back on my memories, I can say that as a goalie coach, I changed a lot from since then. Uh, but yeah, like the approach is really, really personal, and that's what I like about that is we're almost a small, not almost, we're a small team in a big team too, because we're not sometimes we're on our own. We do different stuff, like we're getting on the ice earlier. So yeah, so it's really nice.
The goalie union. You mentioned the video, and I asked about how using video as a teaching tool for learning to read the game, but I didn't realize that you were also the video coach, and that is especially at different levels. That's part of the gig quite often. Goalie coach and video coach. Any advice for young goalie coaches? Like, it's important to have that skill set as a goalie coach, but also to open up opportunities as well. And what advice would you give to young goalie coaches trying to break into, like certain programs they need to learn how to use, how to identify certain clips? What kind of tips would you give there?
For me, it was important to learn that part, and I learned it at a pro level. I didn't do video before that, but I think
Okay.
yeah, as goalie coach when you want to coach in junior or even in like midget AAA, like U18 AAA, junior, sometimes university too, you can kind of merge those two jobs together. Sometimes the teams are lower budget, so they hire a goalie coach, and you're doing the video coach too. So yeah, having that in your toolbox can only help you. Uh, and then you can understand the game more because you need to be focused on everything like breakout, control breakout, forecheck, neutral zone regroup. So as you play the game, you learn the game too. Um, as a goalie coach, you want to know every aspect of the game for sure because everything is coming to your goalie. But like living it live, having to click it, having to stay focused on everything because sometimes you have to like click the hit, the zone entry, the turnover at the same time. So, well, yeah, I think it's a really good tool to have in your toolbox.
How in what ways does it help to have that deep level understanding of system? Because like you said, I've always had the theory to a certain extent that, I mean, obviously goalies have to be able to manage whatever comes at them. But at the end of the day, every goalie has different strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes systems will fit a goalie better than a different system. Or what everybody gives up chances, but what are we going to give up, and does it fit? Being able to sort of be a part of those conversations at the coaching level with the rest of the staff and understanding that, how important is it?
Well, it's important in a way that every team you're gonna play, like maybe I don't know like what's the exact number, but 90% of the system are all the same, I would say. Like there's maybe a 10% that's gonna change, like the forecheck 1-2-2 or 2-1-2. But like knowing all the system or more system can help you like when you play against a team, especially at pro level like that, like where there's pre-scout and like there's tendency that you're gonna see every time we're gonna play Boston Fleet, let's say. So understanding that and seeing it, like living it live, can help you prepare your goalie or even like the D or help on the D zone coverage or uh, just
Puck touches, I would imagine puck
puck
touches for your
touches,
goalie too,
yeah,
knowing where the
the
forecheck's
forecheck
coming
is
from.
exactly. So knowing all that can help you prepare your goalie like the right way for that game. Especially in playoff, like when you play that team, like for us, it's best of five. So when you know you might be playing them 5 games in a row, for sure it helps. For sure it helps.
The other part of the job is pre-scout.
Yeah.
Like you're not just responsible for your goalies. You're
No.
responsible for sort of identifying tendencies at the other end. What's that process, without giving too much away? What's that process like for you?
For me, like what we do is there's always a little loop, like a video loop, maybe of 2 minutes running before games, on what we can exploit on the other goalie. If there's weaknesses, if sometimes you see, I don't know, she got scored 15 times out of 20, eye blocker, just little details like that that can help player. Um, so for me is I will always put like 3 bullets on what we can do. Uh, I put the stats too, but I'll leave that in the room. Sometimes player come to me, ask question. I don't want to get too much involved in that because especially during a season, uh, maybe one goalie, like let's say, yeah, eye blocker, she gave a more goal there, but like on that special game, she's gonna stop everything. So
Right.
like during season, like I'm always gonna do it because some player loves it. Uh, but yeah, like I'm not gonna go in the room and do a presentation about it or before the game or like. So if players have questions, they come to see me. What do you mean about that? Or okay, can if I do that, is it gonna work? So it's more like yeah, and how they feel.
Have you ever had a player come to you after a game and say, "Hey, you said that was going to be open and it wasn't"?
Uh, uh Probably yeah, probably or like the opposite. Hey, I should have done that because like you wrote
Well,
it.
that's
I saw the
so.
video and then I didn't do it and it didn't work. So yeah, but like funny story about that. In September, I was in Boston at the Boston Bruin training camp, and I was chatting with the goalie coach there, Bob Esensa, and I was asking him
Yeah.
about his pre-scout, what he was doing, and like for sure in the NHL, you have like 82 games, so he was saying he put the goal against and stuff, and one year with when Phil Kessel was there, he said, I don't know, they were playing, I think they were playing the Habs or something like that. And he said, like, Carey Price, low blocker on a shootout. And Kessel went uh, and he shoot low glove. And like Bob went to see him after. He said, hey, why did you shoot low glove? Like I said, low blockers is our is weakness. And Phil Kessel answered him like, oh, I wanted to prove you wrong. Just like, so, so yeah. So sometimes, yeah, like,
Where did you do like a guest coaching appearance with the
no, I
Bruins?
was there. Like I know Jim Corsi, and
Okay.
then I wanted to do like a guest appearance or stuff. So I talked to Bob, but he told me like come to watch the practice and stuff. But it's the first year of the new head coach there, so I think they want me to get on the ice. There were a lot of people there and stuff. So no, I watched the practice. I was in the stands, and then we had a good chat for yeah 20, 30 minutes. So but it was cool.
He's one of the best.
He's super nice person. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you, so I'll dig into you a little bit here. Like played a little, had a bit of time in the queue. Where did the passion? Yeah, where did the passion for goaltending come
Yeah,
from?
my story is really like it's not like all the other, well, not all, but like most of the goalie coach, like they played in the Q or pro level. I stopped playing hockey. I was like 13 years old. I wasn't really good. I was really small. Like I think I found a hockey card that I have here on a tournament. Like I think I was like 4'6" at 13 years old. So I was really, really small and not really good. I was better at golf. So I stopped playing hockey, played golf, whatever. And then I don't know, 10 years later, I was working at a sports store here in Montreal. And then we did a hockey game with the employees. So I said, hey, well, I'll retry to skate and be a goalie. So I hop on the ice and yeah. So a year later, like a friend of mine, he knows a friend who's coaching like M15A and he was looking for assistant coach and somebody who could take care of goalies. So I went there, like not knowing if I would love that or stuff. And I really fell in love with with the position. And I always watched hockey, like even if I was not playing, like I always watched the Habs but yeah, like the passion of coaching started from there. Not, yeah,
Wow.
like if I go back and it was in 2008, if I go back in
Okay.
my memories, like I didn't know what I was doing at all. Like I was just
Well, you're
shooting
just
pucks on,
getting started.
shooting pucks
Yeah.
on goalie and just say little tracking here and there. And I started to watch video, and so it started from there. And I would say my goalie coach career is almost as a player. Like I started at like lower level, and then I started to climb, like coaching double A and then triple A, and then started to work at the goalie school that I'm now the owner with two other guys. Started in
Intense hockey. Want to make sure we give it a
yeah
shout out there.
intense
Yeah.
hockey. I started to coach there in 2013, and then became a co-owner in 2017. And up until then, I was only coaching like minor hockey and coaching at the school. Like I was not really involved with team on a full season basis. We were doing what we call a sport études, so like prep school hockey. We were in charge of goalies, so I was going at practice, but like we were not going at any games or stuff. So, and yeah, 2018, I was hired in junior AAA, well, junior A team here up north. That was my first experience as a like goalie coach with a team and having to be there at the games and following the team. So started, yeah, with the team started from there. I stayed there for 3 years, 4 years. And then Concordia, I was involved too with the SCJET team here. Uh, and then, yeah, PWHL. Uh, I coached at the CJEP level with girls too, from 2018 to 2021 after COVID. So yeah,
Okay.
so
So
the story is, yeah, it's
I
not
love
a
it.
usual story as like
It is not.
not
It reminds me a little. It reminds me a little bit of my story.
yeah
Never played goalie growing up.
no
Learned it in my mid-30s because I was writing about it.
yeah
And obviously, I'm not a champion like you
yeah
are. I haven't risen to that level. But boy, do I love the position. So as you started now, first of all, there is a Bruno, not Bruno-Pierre, that not a BP,
yeah
but a Bruno Guillemette who played in the queue. So that's where I got it wrong.
oh yeah
That yeah, I did a
I didn't
search
know
and I should have known if it didn't say Pierre. That I
yeah
should have known it
exactly
wasn't you.
yeah
That's why I asked. The some of the mentors along the way that helped you get here, like like in those early beginnings, like what you said, watching video. Are you like YouTubing it? Like how are you? To get to here from there that's quite an accomplishment, BP.
yeah at first it was like I was watching video YouTube or reading a little bit about it, but
Okay.
when I started, like it was on a voluntary basis. So like at that time I didn't want to do that as a full-time job. Well, first of all, I didn't think it was possible to do that. And then when I met the guy at Intense Hockey, like Éric Terrien and Olivier Michaud, who founded that school here, uh, sometimes I was going there that Monday night. I was sitting down watching like 3 practice in a row, just to
Learning.
learn, watching what they were doing, and that's how I started to coach there too. Like I knew the guy, and if I remember correctly, like at one point, Eric was taking a vacation, and he asked me like, "Oh, can you come and replace me for a week?" So I said, "Yeah, why not?" So went there, started coach there, and I never quit. I never quit. So yeah, as I meant, like Eric Terrien, like he's known here in the region. He was involved with some Q team player team too. So and Olivier Michaud.
Obviously, yeah, I know
Yeah,
Olivier,
you know
and
Olivier.
you started first couple of years in the PW was sort of alongside him, the two of you
Yeah,
together for the first two, and then this year by
yeah,
yourself.
exact. Ollie called me like first season of the PW. He called me like the training camp was starting in November, so he called me at the end of October, and he said like, "I have this opportunity to go there, but I cannot be there full time." So I told the GM Danielle that I have maybe another guy that can work with me, that like, and since we're working together for so long, like we have the same approach kind of almost. We're teaching the same way. So like, so would you be interested? So, and I was at Concordia at that time, so I said, well, yeah, like why not? It's like it's nice. It's a nice project, and so I went there first 2 seasons with Ollie. Like so, yeah. So I learned a lot during those 2 seasons too. Like uh, how he was working with goalies, like on a day to day basis. And yeah, this year it didn't come back, so like I stayed there alone, being there full time. So yeah, and in Concordia too, I had the chance to work with Jim Corsi. So you,
What was that? What was that like? What some of the lessons you would have learned from a Jim, like just an absolute legend of the game and a
yeah,
gentleman of the
oh
game.
yeah, so nice. He's such a gentleman, like you said. Uh, at first with Jim, like, and he's older. And we still go at each other on different technique. Like he like the half butterfly, and I don't like that. So from time to time, I wake up in the morning and then I receive some video from Jim, like on
Oh,
the
you might be getting some video soon because I think Brandon Bussey made about 3 half butterfly
oh
saves
I
last
will
night.
receive some text for sure today. So yeah, so the biggest thing I learned from Jim, I think, is I was, and I'm still is a technical goalie coach, I would say, but it was bringing more flow in the team practice, like because I was still going on like correcting everything at every rep. So like I think that I learned that's what I learned the most from him, like letting some mistake happen and then having a flow in the goalie session practice a little bit more, and then taking the 2 minutes extra at the end to correct that, or like let the goalie make those mistakes for like a couple reps and then correct it and then redo it again. So that's why I learned a lot from Jim. And yeah, but yeah, we had again every time goalie coach are together, discussion is so nice. Talking about technique, talking about the experience that they have, especially with Jim. Like he coached Dominic Hasek, he coached Bennington at the end when he was in St. Louis, and when he retired, he was with Columbus, like traveling around the world working with their prospects. So yeah, so it was amazing.
Anybody else? Like you mentioned going to Boston and getting to meet Bob Essenza and picking his brain. Have you just been one of like tried to pick brains
Yeah.
all over the place, try and learn? Is there anybody else that stands out that you've gotten to learn from?
Well, I watched a lot of Ian Clark video on YouTube. I never had the chance to talk with him, but yeah, I think to be a good goalie coach, you have to watch a little bit of everybody what they're doing, uh, especially at the NHL level, like what. And it's sometimes it's hard just watching the video because you don't know the approach, but you still get the essence of it, the technique that they are working on, or but no, I would say like Ali, Jim, those are the two guys that I refer to a lot. Yeah. And meeting Bob in September was nice too, but like yeah, we talked for 20-30 minutes. So like a couple of questions here and there, but like yeah, like Jim, I can call him every day if I want to, if I have question, or if same thing with Ollie. So no. So, yeah, those two are really my big mentors.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, well, I mean, the one carryover from Concordia, if I understand correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, because I may be screwing this up, but in Anne Rene, you have a CCM tax goalie. If I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, Concordia used to do a lot of their goalies used to do a lot of the equipment testing for CCM and a
Yeah.
lot of prototypes over the years.
Yeah.
So you've gotten a firsthand look at the development process with CCM.
Yeah. Yeah. The head coach of Concordia works with CCM. He's in charge of all development and stuff. So yeah, we goalies are testing a lot of stuff. And then when I switched with the Victoire there in Montreal, Anne René was with True first. The first 2 seasons, no, the first season she was with True, and then she switched back to CCM. She was with CCM
Yeah.
before. So yeah, so I saw a lot of testing going on with Concordia, uh, new technology or new skin they were trying for the pass, if it's more slippery or not, or different angle in the glove. Like I remember the first the Axis 2 that came out with the weird palm inside.
Yeah.
Tested that
But
before. And even with my school, like at Intense Hockey, we're kind of sponsored by CCM. So talk with them a lot. Like when they have stuff to test, they come to the school. So they have access to a lot of goalies, obviously. So like even this week, I think they're gonna come and watch test a new mask they're working on. So yeah, no, I sometimes we have the chance to see the product like 2 years before it's on the shelf.
Well, I always ask goalies because it's not like I've always said not everybody needs to be, to use a baseball reference, Ichiro Suzuki, keeping his baseball bats in a humidor so that the temperature and humidity is controlled. We don't need to be that intense. No. But it's good to know your tools. Like as a goalie coach, have you ever and Ian Clark would be a guy the same way. Like if the equipment isn't moving in a way that fits your game, goalies need to be aware of that. Yeah. There are other times as a goalie coach, especially with young guys, where you have to be like, hey, like this isn't moving the way it should, or that isn't moving in a way that helps your game. Is it important to have that knowledge?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the biggest case it would be the glove, like the angle of the glove, like 600, like in your stance, the 600 won't be placed the same way that the 590 or now the 580 that is really popular. So yeah, knowing all that can help for sure. With pads like the max rebound or like a softer pad, or like if your butterfly is not as wide as it can be, having a different model of pad there, especially with like stiffer pad or softer pad, that can help for sure. Like, and I think it would come at a certain level too. Like the goalie needs to understand what the difference is. I don't think like telling a 11 years old goalie like, oh, you should switch pad because of this and that. Like I don't think it's
fair.
the right idea. But like yeah, for sure, like goalies that are arriving at like M50, U15, AAA, or like a little bit higher level, yeah, for sure, you can have a good discussion with them to make sure that they have the proper gear. Yeah.
Last one for me, because I've taken up too much of your time at a time when you were incredibly busy.
So fun to talk about goalie.
I haven't learned the rituals, but do you get a day with Walter?
I don't know yet, but probably.
Okay.
Probably. Well, I hope we have a day with Walter. I saw some video of Marie-Philippe having the Walter with Stacy. They were in Beauceville here, where Marie-Philippe grew up, with the cup. So I guess the Walter ritual, and like all the players gonna get it first, and then we'll probably coaches after. But yeah, I would love to have a full day with Walter, because.
What are the plans? Have you made any plans? Like who is it important? Like in moments like this where you have a championship, like who is it important? Who do you think of? Who do you want to share it with?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna bring the cup at my school, like making all the young goalies seeing it, and having a party somewhere after that. Like my mom will probably be there. Yeah, I'll invite all my friends and goalie coach that I know, that, or coach, even like head coach that was part of my like sorry, I'm looking for my
journey.
Yeah, exact part of my journey there. So yeah, having a big gather around with hockey people and having fun.
That sounds like a good day to me. Well, hey, congratulations, Bruno. Good on you.
Thanks a lot.
It was really fun to watch, and I really appreciate the time. Like I said, I know how crazy it is right now, but and you've got goalie schools. Any goal? Are you're working with Anne Renee Desbiens has a goalie school. You're obviously working at Intense. Anything you want to plug before we let you go?
Yeah, well, we have a summer camp that starting today on the ice at 1 p.m. with our older goalies now. Like our big program, elite program, is starting today. We have week 2 that is coming in July 20th. We have a full week of school there. We still have some place. But yeah, we have a busy summer. Like I would say that 95% of our school are full. We have a special weekend with Anne Renee too in July, only for girls. We have 36 goalies there that's gonna come. It's our second year we're doing that. So it's gonna be a busy summer, but it's nice. It's nice where like in summer I'm more working with older goalies or like goalies that we don't see much during the winter. Uh, we're gonna be on the ice pretty much. I'll be on the ice from Monday to Thursday. So yeah, but hey, we love what we do. So never working. Like when I have a tougher day, I'm just remembering myself that I'm going to shoot on a goalie. So there's a worse job than that in the world.
I can relate very much. We have similar paths to this, my friend. So
Yeah.
I love that story. Bruno, congrats again, and thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Kev, and we'll see each other for sure during the next season in Vancouver.
What a great path.
Isn't that? Like, I just love that. Like, you don't have to have, you don't have to have played the thing your whole life, the position, to fall in love with it. I never tried goalie till I was in my mid 30s, and now I couldn't imagine not playing it. Obviously not coaching it like Bruno is at the top level of the women's game. But even getting to do this with you guys and what we built, what David's built, Hutch has built here at InGoal Magazine and with the InGoal Radio podcast, like that all started with sort of just a little bit of a writing work with a goalie coach and Ian Clark and editing his magazine. And then just once you try this position, it's kind of hard not to fall in love with it. So that passion comes through from BP in that interview. And it's a great origin story, and I was so happy we were able to share that. It took a little while because that life as a PWHL goalie coach is busy. He goes from winning the Walter Cup to an incredible celebration in Montreal. Like, the parade was awesome. And right into having to figure out protected lists, expansion drafts, and then the draft itself as they managed 3 goalies at that level and 4 new teams. So it was an incredibly busy time for him, and I'm really grateful that he made the time to connect with us.
Does that mean you're going to start coaching at some point?
Nope.
He did do a little bit, and he should do more.
He should definitely not do more. Those that can't do, teach. Those that can't teach, talk about it in the media. That's my rule. I am not a teacher, Daren.
Keith Fry wouldn't be very happy with you right now.
Kevin totally undersells himself as a coach. I've
totally
seen him.
Does.
I still remember we were at a training session one time. Maddie was training with a coach, and Kevin stopped by to hang out with us. And Matthew was struggling with something in particular that the coach couldn't really convey to him. And we went for lunch afterwards, and there was Kevin on the carpet in the middle of this restaurant with everybody watching him demonstrate the proper use of the head to help Matthew reach a puck as it was going cross crease. And it was fabulous.
Yeah, but then there's the time that I was up at Net 360 and the juniors were out with the NHL coaches, and I spotted something. I'm not going to say which goalie, but I remember sort of mentioning it to Nabby because this kid was having trouble and he was getting beat in the same spot every time, and everything else looked great until this one spot. And I'm like, I see this, and he's like, you're right, and which was kind of a cool moment for me. He's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what the issue is. Why don't you go tell him? Well, I went and told him. And he became so focused on that one thing that all the other stuff he was doing right to that point, and he was a mess for the rest of the hour. And it was Nabby giving me a little lesson in coaching there, but we had a good conversation about it. I'm like, yeah, it's about how you deliver the information. And I think that requires some education and experience, neither of which I have. So
yeah, but Woody, you can't judge yourself because I once did one thing and it didn't work. Therefore, I'm not good at it.
I'm a total failure.
Yeah, what Hutch said.
Hey, listen. Speaking, I need to get back to. Now that I've cut myself down enough, we're gonna pat myself on the back here. We never do. We have a consensus? Have we had anyone reach out? Was Josh Kotai's origin story the best origin story? Any feedback on that one? I think I've heard a few that sent notes to me saying that was the best right catching origin story last week. So, folks, if you haven't listened to it, because I know sometimes people skip episodes here and there, make sure you go listen. As good as BP was in this one of the Montreal Victoire with that origin story into coaching, the origin story of how Josh Kotai became a right catch goalie is incredible. He's at the Islanders development camp this week after signing his entry-level deal at the end of his NCAA season. And it is, I still think, the best right catching origin story, maybe in the history of the game. It's up there with Grant Fear's dad having to take a left catching glove and convert it to a right catching glove.
And reminder, next week's episode is going to have a great gear segment about something that you wear on your legs.
Pants.
Hint.
Hint.
Listen. Everybody, okay, it's pants, but does everybody know what it is? No, they don't, Daren, but they've never been able to wear it before at the retail level, and now they will.
Hint. They're goalie pants.
Oh, you guys having fun at my expense again?
Never.
I would
Never.
not think of it.
But I am in person every time we record the gear segments, and it's really just an exercise in Kevin chopping down Cam. So we just got to get back for Cam here.
Yeah, it's fair. I give him a pretty hard time.
You do. And I'm all for it.
It's out of love.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, guys. Appreciate all the great work that you do over at InGoal Magazine, ingoalmag.com. The goalie goal tab is fabulous. And
Thank you.
all the little fast facts, fun facts from the 32 goalies that were selected in the draft. Great work, Hutch. That was in real time, and that was fun on the weekend.
Thank you, Daren. Enjoyed it.
We'll be back next time on In Goal Radio, the podcast presented by the Hockey Shop, source for Sorts Langley, thehockeyshop.com.